amazing. You're amazing. You are powerful. If you can dream it, you can do it. Begin and make it happen. Gotta believe. Believe in yourself. You gotta believe.
Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to the show. My next guest, who is called the podcasting queen by many of her followers, with her ambitious network show, where she shares wonderful tips and tools for business and entrepreneurs, but with a very, very specific way and approach. So please welcome to the show, Anne-Marie Cross.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good, good. I love it. It's my fellow showgirl. But in a very different way, right?
It is a different way.
So I want to jump right in with many who might not even know it's possible what a podcast is.
A podcast is an audio show that you can automatically download to an iPod or an MP3 player.
Yes.
So we created and it's automatically pushed out to a listening device.
Beautiful. So this is something that is very portable. People can listen to it while they're working out and all sorts of things. They don't have to have the
listening
visual.
to it in the car. So it's not interrupting you from your driving. A great way to really absorb information.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so what kinds of things are you sharing with people?
Yeah, well, our listeners are ambitious entrepreneurs in all sorts of walks of life in business, but primarily the topics are all around branding, building a strong signature brand, marketing, your visibility out in the marketplace so you can stand out and get noticed, and all around money and mindset so you can get paid what you're worth. Many of our listeners are women, and women are really good at devaluing their incredible value, so we hope to change that.
Do you find that that's where you end up really disseminating a lot of tools and tips and information is around that area?
Absolutely. It's one of the things that I found with clients and also our listeners is that they can have the best product or service, many of them being service-based businesses, so it's themselves, the best systems in place, but internally if they don't have the right mindset of I deserve this, I'm worth this, then that can really show up in the amount of money that they can make, the clients that they work with, and so it really is, I think, a holistic, all three things are very important in any business.
Do you find that they even self-sabotage if they're not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm hearing, if they have these amazing products and these wonderful systems, which is what many of us are told to have, right? Have the products and have the systems and have all of this stuff. But you're saying that you can have all of that and really still trip yourself up.
Absolutely. There's three common themes that I see. And the first is all around self-doubt. And that is where we compare ourselves to others and we think, wow, if only I was whatever that other person is showcasing in their services and how they're promoting themselves. And self-doubt that they can do that, but I certainly can't. And that is something that can prevent us from really stepping out and owning our inner brilliance. The other is self-disempowerment, and that is where we focus on only the things that went wrong. And in business, there's so many ups and downs, so many challenges, and if we only focus on the things that went wrong, the things that didn't quite work out, we launched a program, we wanted 15 people, we got 5. Instead of celebrating the 5 people whose lives we are now able to change through our work, we're worrying about the 10 that didn't show up, And this can certainly hold us back from, stepping out in a really powerful way.
Absolutely. I think there's a big thing, very much, at least, I don't know, and tell us where you're from again?
Melbourne, Australia.
Yes, Australia. Do you find in Australia, how's that?
Australia. Or you guys say Melbourne? Yeah, it's Melbourne.
Melbourne, exactly. Do you find in Australia, as it is here, very much a highly competitive kind of energy and world here? There's so many singing competition shows and food shows, food chef shows and real estate show. Everything's in competition, and I have a phrase that I love is compare and despair. So as soon as we're doing that, taking our eyes off of who we are,
Yes.
and we're looking at someone else, we're going to take it, down, because there's always going to be something we're going to think we can do better. Do you find it's the same?
We do, and we
Yeah.
also have something else in Australia, which I'm not sure here is prevalent, but it's called the tall poppy syndrome. So when anyone does something brilliant or they bring
Yes.
their incredible voice to the world, people stand in the background, and through their envy, and perhaps it shines a light on what's not working for them,
Yes.
they tend to want to take that person down. So,
Interesting.
as women, sometimes we don't want to do that
Right.
because we think, well, what happens if I become a victim of the tall poppy syndrome and people start to say negative things about me?
Yes.
So we end up playing small.
Yes, because it feels a little safer, right? Because if you're now out there and you're visible, now you become a kind of easy target.
Exactly.
And so a lot of people will shrink back from that in fear, instead of really stepping into still what's yours to do,
Yeah.
and know that people are going to say what they're going to say.
Yeah.
Do you have some things that you share with your?
Yeah, I think, around the branding piece, and I know that many people have spoken on your show, which I've listened to, and it's fabulous. They talk about it on authenticity. They talk about their soul's purpose, their mission. And I think when someone taps into that and they have that story to tell,
Yes.
it doesn't matter what anyone says about you, because in your heart
Yes.
you have a message to share.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter. The people who need to hear that message will hear the message. And all the other people, because you can step into your power. And I think when people recognise that, sometimes we'd have to take a few steps along the journey to find out what that purpose is. But once we do, we can step into that powerfully and own it, and really, stand fully behind that message, whatever that is, whatever the purpose is.
Absolutely. A mentor of mine says, when you are doing what's uniquely yours to do,
Yes.
there is no competition.
No.
I really believe that.
Yeah,
I really, really
absolutely.
believe that. So beautiful, beautiful. And so how did you come to this work? What got you to create the Ambitious Network and all of that good
Wow.
stuff?
Well, many years ago, before I got into this work, I had the dream of becoming a teacher. I had, my entire family was teachers, from kindergarten teachers right through to professors.
Okay.
And I thought I was going to be a teacher, but a horse riding accident left me concussed. So for many months, I had to go to hospital and get my memory back and so forth.
Yes.
So I was unable at that time to continue on my studies. So one thing led to another, and I eventually started working in an office, which I enjoyed. It was a subject I took at school, which is a
Okay.
fallback on subject.
Okay.
But that came in handy, and it was surprising that I loved it. But then, other decisions were made, and I eventually became a career coach, helping other people to live their life purpose in their work. And the reason was because at the back of my mind, I always had the thought, what if my horse riding accident had never occurred? Would I have followed a different journey, a different path? And it turns out that when I'd gone through a lot of the assessments and tools that I use with clients back then in the career coaching business, I recognised that I was doing the right thing, and that was to help other people discover their purpose. And now I do that with entrepreneurs as well.
That's beautiful. And you've created this wonderful network where people get to step into their power and step into the power of their voice and share their message in a really powerful way, which I just think is fantastic. Of course I would, right? So, I love that we get to have you here and hear more about that, which we're going to go into in just a little bit. But before we do, I would just love to know, when you started to step into creating that network, what were some of the challenges? What were some of the kind of ups and downs that you encountered in creating that? And then what were some of the things you did to kind of move past that? And then how can you, really share that to help others who might be going through the same thing? So we're going to get into all of that right after this. So come right back with Anne-Marie Cross. This episode was sponsored by Soul Purpose Branding. Put your soul into your brand. Get your business on purpose. With Sabine Messner, the wizard of Soul Purpose Branding. soulpurposebranding.com. And we are back with Anne-Marie Cross, who is sharing with us some of the tools and tips she took to really create this amazing, ambitious entrepreneur network, and how she got it to where it is today. Please welcome back Anne-Marie Cross. So Anne-Marie, you've created this beautiful network. And I love that you actually use the word ambitious. I know for a lot of people that's kind of a bad word even too, or they sometimes have a little negative energy around that. But it's just really honoring the pull, would you say?
Absolutely. I think every one of us has a unique message, and a lot of the people that are involved, the podcasters that have their own show, want to bring that message out to the people who they serve.
Yes.
And they have a drive. They have a desire, a deep desire to get that message out, to serve those people. So that's really what ambitious, the word ambitious, has meaning around that.
I love that. And that is really the core of where that word comes from and the true energy of it. So I love that you've really captured that in this network. And so tell us some of the, because we know in creating something new, something as powerful as what you do, didn't just go wee, So what were some of the challenges you encountered, and then some of the things that you did to overcome those challenges?
Well, I think to start up the network, there was really some behind the scenes planning, and it's not just my own show that's featured on the show, but other podcast hosts as well. So we had to think about what sort of platform we'd be able to put that on so that it could manage the shows and then be able to promote that. But fortunately, I did my homework, did the research, and have got a really good team behind me, so that
key thing.
I didn't have to do all of the work myself. And once we did the planning, we had it all in place, the actual development of the network itself was just so streamlined. And I think the key is not letting your own self-doubt, not letting your own, I can't do that, stop you. Which I, initially, if I had to do everything myself, I would not be sitting here talking about the Ambitious Entrepreneur Network. It would still not be done. But I invested in some great collaboration partners, and through their support, we've been able to launch that network.
Beautiful. And when the idea first came to you, which, by the way, how did the idea first come to you?
Well, I met an incredible person, and she was one of my sponsors, major sponsors for the show. And she had so much fun, and she could see that it really was helping her gain visibility for her book and her services and speaking opportunities. She does speaking around the country, that she said, I'd love to have my own show. She said, but I don't want to become an expert in podcasting. I don't want to be an expert in mixing and doing all of the behind the scenes stuff. I just want to get on the stage, the audio stage, and share my gifts with the world. So I said to her, just a flash, things happen of inspiration. I said, what if I built that, or had a team that built that? Would you be interested in working with me? She said, I'm down. And it just grew from there.
Beautiful.
And so, I've built this platform that other people can then take their message out to the world. And it's incredible.
I love it.
Incredible.
I know, look at you just light up even talking about it. Isn't it just so wonderful to really step into what's yours to do and the way that's uniquely yours to do it?
It is.
And did you, when the idea, the very first time you did a podcast, and you thought about creating now this network, was there any moments where you went, I don't know?
Definitely, the self-disbelief. Who am I to do this? How can I create a platform? Who will want to listen? To me rambling on. I mean, I can sit in front of a microphone and talk for hours, but is someone going to be interested in listening to that?
Sure.
And there were a couple of times where I did pause, and I thought, am I really supposed to be doing this? And so I prayed and meditated, as I do, as you tend to do. And within doing that and sitting down and pausing, I received an email. Actually, it was on Twitter. It was a tweet that someone said, congratulations, fantastic. And I'm thinking, what's this congratulations about? I'd won an award, the podcasting awards. So I thought, well, I must be on the right track.
I love
and so
it.
there's been other things, signs that said, you're on the right track. And then one of them was an email that I received from a guy who was living in Africa, South Africa, and he moved back to his home country in Zimbabwe. And he said, I'd been listening to your show for many months. It's been such an inspiration. He said, I have had a career change and I am now a DJ on a local radio station. Would you mind if we syndicated your show? Would I mind if I was, syndicated
in Zimbabwe?
So, to think that I was creating, from Melbourne, Australia, in my home office, an audio, a podcast that was touching the lives of aspiring entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe, who, they are an underdeveloped country. And was inspiring them was, to me, It's a blessing,
That's
isn't it? It's a blessing. And who am I
Right.
to say no?
Who are you
know,
not?
who
right?
am I not to do
right.
that?
That reminds me
Yeah.
of the Marianne Williamson quote, right?
Yeah.
Who are you not to be
Yeah.
that which you absolutely are feeling and deep, deep inside you to step into.
So you never know who is going to
that's
listen to the show, whose life
Right.
it's going to touch,
Yes.
and who you're going
Change
to
and
meet.
transform.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful. That is really wonderful. That's such a highlight to me. And so if folks want to, create a show to be on your network, what are some of the things that they would need to kind of be prepared and ready to do?
Yeah, well, the focus obviously is on business, but it can be even supporting businesses. If you are a spiritual entrepreneur who has a lot of, spiritual elements to the business, I think that's really important. It's not just
Yes.
bookkeeping or marketing or visibility.
Right,
Things,
linear, left,
but it
right.
really is supporting holistically the business owner, and you really have a message to share. If you really have a message to share, then we'd love to hear from you, because everybody who's out there needs to listen to your message, and podcast is a great way to get that out there.
Right, there are
Yeah.
people out there waiting for your exact message, just like the man in Zimbabwe. My goodness, I think that's such a powerful example of exactly how, right, in your home office, right, here you are creating, and with the power of the internet and technology, our messages can reach the world, and here you are inspiring a man on the other side of the world, and his life has changed, and now he's changing others' lives with the information that you're sharing. So that's just so powerful. So do they need to have, special skills or tools or anything like
Well,
that
I think
set up?
initially when they contact me, it's a really good idea to have an idea
At least.
planned out. What sort
Right.
of topic would you like to bring, the message that you want to share with the community?
Yes.
And just reach out, because, the technical skills, the
Yes.
interviewing skills, getting you all set up, my team will certainly support them in doing that.
Beautiful.
And it really is just being authentic, because everybody has a unique way of bringing their message across. So even though
Yes.
some of the topics may be the same,
Right.
they don't have the personality, the characteristics that is so, uniquely
Uh-huh,
the
the
individual
approach.
podcast host.
Yeah. And so you still carry your own show, you still do your specific message. And so what's your specific and unique message?
Well, it is all around the branding, being unique and authentic, being yourself and showing up uniquely in all of the things that you do, the messages that you do, and the visibility strategies that you implement, the marketing, which is really important, and of course for those people who do podcasting and use podcasting as a tool to get their message out, we can incorporate that. And it's all around the money mindset as well. Those three key elements I think are important for any ambitious entrepreneur, because again, you can have all of the systems, or you can have the right mindset, but no systems and no marketing. You need all three.
That's really actually, I think, key. I think those are just three absolute keys that are completely necessary to really, I think, have a successful business in anything, are those three things. Beautiful. So they can listen to yours, and they can also come and share their own message as well.
Exactly, yes, and listen to the other podcast hosts. We've got a number of people already that are part of the network, and also other podcast hosts joining us.
Beautiful, and this is all on the Ambitious
ambitiousentrepreneurnetwork.com. And we've just been picked up by a new sponsor, so we get to get visibility with their 9 million listeners, which is exciting from all over the world.
Very exciting.
So,
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Oh, that's just going to change a lot of lives and do a lot of wonderful things in the world. I'm really glad for you, and congratulations on that. So, so people can go to the website and they can listen to the podcast, or they can also connect with you. Is there perhaps a tip or a tool you'd like to leave with folks before you take off today?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the message that I'd want to share is that if you have a dream and a desire to get a message out there, then often the person that is holding us back is the reflection that we see in the mirror. You just really need to connect with that. You can do it, get a support team, get a good mentor or coach behind you, because once you do, that message is just going to touch the lives of so many people.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Excellent.
important. Yeah.
Well said. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And we'll be back right after this. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being with us today on our show. I really hope that there was something shared that really helps you shine your biggest and brightest light. Please stop by again, like us on Facebook, tweet us, all of those good things. And most importantly, please always remember, it's all about love.